Minister, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, more than one person died every week in Ireland as a result of asthma. In fact, 1 in 5 children in Ireland have asthma. 1 in 10 adults in Ireland have asthma. 1 in 14 people in Ireland have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. And there's no doubt that these people are more likely to be hospitalised or die as a result of COVID-19. Now, energy poverty has an adverse effect on health, and cold, damp housing exacerbates these particular respiratory problems. As I see it, energy efficiency is the primary tool in tackling energy poverty. 1 in 4 people in Ireland today cannot afford to heat and to light their homes. And I think we all have a moral imperative to ensure that everyone can afford to pay for their lighting and heating. And back in Budget 2017, which was my first budget as Minister, we've seen a significant ramp up in the investment in energy efficiency. That was again expanded in Budget 2018, where we looked at far deeper energy efficiency upgrades. And I was lucky, as part of Project Ireland 2040, to be able to secure a €4,000 million budget for the carrying out of deep retrofits and energy efficiency to take dirty fossil fuels out of our heating systems, including all of our homes, by 2035. Now, the Climate Action Plan brought that target back to 2033, but as I said at the time that Project Ireland 2040 was launched, it wasn't about the commitment and the targets. It was actually about delivering on those targets, and that was going to be the key challenge. Now, one of the key measures in relation to energy efficiency, particularly in relation to fuel poverty, is the Warmer Home Scheme. And historically, that was focused on smaller, shallower measures to improve the energy efficiency of homes. However, as Minister, I provided the funding to carry out deep retrofits of those homes right across this country and dramatically expanded the investment in that in 2018. As a result of that, in 2018, 5,255 homes had a retrofit carried out to them. And these are people that are on social welfare, that don't have the resources to carry out the type of retrofit that we all know is needed to many of our homes and our older housing stock across the country. However, in 2019, the number of homes retrofitted in that year fell by 40% compared to what was achieved in 2018. And last year, in 2020, that collapsed. There was a 70% reduction in the number of homes retrofitted compared to 2018. And Minister, today there are approximately 7,000 families reliant on social welfare who are waiting for approval to have their homes retrofitted under that scheme. Now, disappointingly, last week, the current Minister for Energy, Eamon Ryan, said that there are changes coming to the scheme, and to quote him, to better target the most in need in relation to that scheme. In other words, quite a number of those 7,000 people who are in energy poverty, who are reliant on social welfare, will now be excluded from his revision of that scheme, and I think that that is wrong. Minister Ryan also announced a new national retrofit programme for 2021. But we've no information on that as of yet. We're now already into the month of February, and if we were trying to maximise the number of retrofits to take place, if we were going to maximise the capital drawdown in 2021, then that scheme should have been operational in January of this year. And remember, this was committed to in the programme for government. There's been ample time to design this retrofit scheme, and it hasn't happened. And, you know, the argument will be made, well, because of the lockdown, we can't do retrofits of homes. And I accept you can't go into homes at the moment with the current restrictions. But a lot of the work that's required is external work, and that could be prioritised at this point in time and have that work carried out. And it's not just in terms of energy poverty. In terms of the government's own objectives in relation to climate emissions, energy efficiency is the first most significant step on the road to actually reducing overall emissions and improving air quality across this country. As we know, as a result of the pandemic, families' heating bills have gone up and gone up dramatically. And that has been compounded by the increased carbon taxes and also the subsidising of data centres. And I believe that it is immoral that people who are struggling to pay electricity bills should be subsidising the electricity going into the data centres across this country, many of which have been constructed on a speculative proposition. We've seen a 9% increase in residential carbon emissions during the lockdown of 2020, and we've seen a fall-off in the retrofitting of homes, which commenced in 2019 and has been collapsed in 2020. And I think we need, Minister, to have a step change in terms of retrofitting homes in this country, and it needs to be prioritised as part of the capital plan. Thank you.
Many thanks, Deputy.